Still kind of working on it, but I have the overall shape of what I was talking about just about.
Okay.
Parts of it would have to be ground away to make it to actually weld it all together.
Right.
And of course, merged blocks put on and things like that. But
I think I would like it the other way better myself. But that final decision will be yours.
Honestly, I'm half of one, 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Gotcha.
So. At least we're not near the death point for a space engineer's world.
Yeah.
I don't. Where you have that point where if you add another block, it crashes.
That would suck. Oh, you know
or
what?
if you remove a block, it crashes.
Oh, good lord! It gets that bad?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That's part of the reason why I had to stop with that Star Wars Dreadnought build. It was, I mean, if you've seen any of the videos on it, the thing's ginormous.
I think I remember some of it, yeah.
It's a 1-to-1 build of a Star Wars Legends Dreadnought.
Oh, good lord, man.
So it's, I mean, it doesn't sound that big, but when you start to realize that, yes, it's 600 meters long.
Uh-huh. And each one of these blocks are what, right at a meter or 3 meters?
2.5.
So yeah, so about 700 blocks in one direction. That's yeah. Yeah, that's kind of big, man.
And it was like almost 200 meters tall, and something like at its widest point close to something like 175 meters wide. It was huge.
Yeah. Now it'd be nice if this game gets to the point where you could build 1-to-1 size ships and not run into that problem.
There's a, I don't know if you've looked at it, but there's a guy on the Keen forums that has a ship that he's been working on for a while that is a 1-to-1 of a Star Trek Galaxy class.
Oh, okay. So the idea playing around in my head to do a sort of used shipyard miniseries of videos, it's still playing in my head. I'm kind of liking the idea more and more if I can get around to writing a script for it or something.
Used shipyard?
Sure. Come on down to Fuzzco used shipyards and platforms, where if you need a ship for your battle, come on down here and we got it cheap. Some shit like that. And you know, it'd be something that's not something of mine starting off with, because you know I don't build well to begin with, and you know it'd be just a great way to throw it out there, you know.
Yeah.
Like
you could do the Ship of Fools.
Yeah. Wouldn't be much of a combat ship, but it could be a starter cargo ship, I guess, or an exploration ship, yeah. But have a semi sort of script for, you know, each one. Like I was thinking about my little light cruiser. You know, explaining that every army needs cannon fodder. Come on down and buy it while it's still cheap, while it's still in stock. You know, something like that. What did I come down here for? Construction components.
That would be a unique way of doing spotlights.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I had in mind. But starting with my own so that I could be quite critical of it without any backlash, because, well, they're mine.
Yeah, you can be critical of it and not feel like somebody might feel insulted.
Right. Once they get the idea that it's all for entertainment, you know, then I can branch out to other ones.
Right.
But I was thinking about a full-blown commercial to start it up of Fuzzco used ships and platforms.
Nice.
The fun part is trying not to trip over my tongue while talking.
Yeah.
It's my little channel trailer. Just that short little segment took me 5 times, and after the 5th time I said screw it and just edited it a little bit.
Yeah, there's sometimes doing things like that, I'll catch myself more going into a rant or saying unnecessary things.
Mm-hmm. Rambling. That's what you're looking for.
Yes. Back.
Okay.
Any, you find any platinum in the shuttles?
Well, it turns out, there's like 20 ingots in there, but it turns out that in another assembler, there's over 400 in it, but it's not being pulled back out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget which one. This one. And there it goes. That will be enough for a couple thousand, so that'll be okay for now. Something I'd noticed about both those ships I was building, they're incredibly slow, especially the one with all the heavy armor now. And from a cruiser standpoint, they're more of a fast attack ship, aren't they? Get in, get a hit, and get out.
Are they made of light armor?
One of them is. The other one is a lot of heavy armor, kind of covering a layer of light armor.
Okay, the light armored one is probably your standard. Well, that's hard because cruisers. You had 2 different approaches to heavy cruiser, or actually you had 3 approaches to heavy cruisers.
Mm-hmm.
Or high-end cruiser variants. You have battle cruisers, which all the cruiser variants really got their start in the British Navy in the lead up to World War I and between World War I and World War II, because there was an admiral in the British Navy at that point that was arguing for cruisers over battleships for the British Navy. And he battle cruisers were pretty much cruisers. Your normal cruiser, so lighter armor, faster speed, things like that, but with heavier guns, almost battleship level guns.
Okay.
You had heavy cruisers, which had heavier armor than normal cruisers, and not necessarily bigger guns or better guns, but more what would the right term be? Well, just more guns in general. They were slower than normal cruisers, things like that.
Right.
Basically, had all the problems that battleships have, but less of them. And then you had things that were attack cruisers and things like that that were basically the idea with the cruiser was you had one basic hull line that they'd build, or at least what this admiral was arguing, was one basic hull that was somewhat standardized. And then on top of that hull, you just laid down a standardized variation upon it, create the various cruiser variants that he was arguing for. But since at that time, battleships were kind of the sign of power for your country, he really didn't do too well with his argument.
Alright, reactors are waiting on superconductors and reactor components. That's something we forgot. How many of those do we have? Probably not many. No, because we're making them for the other ones, weren't we?
Yeah.
So we're going to need 4,000 odium. Where? Oh yeah, I forgot. They look weird. There they are.
They look kind of like squids.
They look kind of like a badminton thing to me. A birdie.
I can see a shuttlecock.
I guess.
That's what it's called.
That's what it is called. I grew up calling it a birdie. Shuttlecock. I could see where it'd be called a birdie. Is the jump sled gonna be a drone / remote control, or we're gonna put a bridge on it?
I was gonna put a bridge on it.
Okay.
A small one, probably one man.
Okay.
Because we're gonna need them separate. I mean, if we get into a position where it's going to be used, we basically spacewalk out to get in it.
Right. God, Sage, you're a freaking madman. 360 large steel tubes.
Well, I think it's just the normal components, but
yeah, there's nothing special in them. It's just the sheer number of it, and I mean, it's. I'm not saying it ain't called for. These things are mighty powerful. But damn it, man. Oh, did you? I think we talked about it before, but did you know he is working on a modular, I guess you call it interior block system of sorts?
Yes.
I'm actually looking forward to that.
Yep.
Oops. What else did I need next?
The only thing that I mean, his stuff may be the only thing that gets me to stop using I think it's TSIV. I always get the letters confuzzled. But that may be the only thing that gets me to stop using that mod pack.
How many?
Please tell me that's a 3. Okay, yes, that's a 3x3.
Oh, speaking of that, those Gothic cannons, they're actually a 2x3.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, it's a little weird. And they're strangely shaped. I tried using them on that ship I was working on last night, or night before last, and it just wasn't thrilled with it. And they have weird connection points. They have like 5 connection points. It's just weird.
Alright, let's see. I want to weld that up. So I need some interior components.
Now that Nova Cannon you showed me, that might make its way into an iteration.
I have no problem if we find some unique weapons. I mean, something I did that I still really liked was creating a list of mods that I'd like to use.
Right.
And I created a list of them. And I had 20. And every time I either found a derelict or captured a ship, I would roll a d20.
Right.
And if the... I would get whatever mod that was rolled. And if that mod I happened to already have, I didn't get anything new.
Okay. And we could always do something like that if you want to.
I mean, that was something I enjoyed. And it added kind of a thing for going out and catching other stuff.
Right. We could do that with some of the big tech and whatnot. We could always start it up on the next playthrough if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think that would be best.
Okay.
You missed 10.
Some of them are actually in the Botany Bay. And I put some back in the Helheim thing. But the rest of them are in the Botany Bay. It's like 500 of them in there. Ooh, don't hit it. So, talking about obscure gaming, since you're kind of doing your Do You Remember series.
Yeah.
Do you recall Legend of Dragoon?
I never played it, but I do remember reading it.
That was quite literally my first real I won't say introduction, but it was my first real JRPG that Is it JRPG, or is it... I think it is. Maybe. I don't know.
Pretty sure it is.
That was the first RPG that I played to completion. And I loved it. It was a little weird from time to time, but I loved it. Voice acting sucked.
And my Do You Remember series.
Yeah.
The way I do it is, or the reason why I do it is I show games that were fun and well done for their time, but came out before the YouTube thing started. And a lot of those games I feel really do need the attention because they were really good games.
Mm-hmm.
Plus they're ones that people might want to actually see being played.
Well, there are a couple, like Chrono Cross actually gets a lot of hate due to it trying to, due to people believing it was trying to follow up hard on Chrono Trigger. But as a standalone game with nods to Trigger, it's freaking awesome. I love the music. I love the music in it. I love the art. The story was interesting. It's something you could check out one day if you wanted to.
Okay. I'll have to see if I actually have it. I have a huge collection that I haven't fully gone through.
Yeah, I used to.
I also like going through with the and showing the original retail version.
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, so you have an emulator. That's like I've pointed out with a couple of the bullet hells.
Mm-hmm.
A legitimate strategy for some of the early bullet hells was to try and keep a balance of the rounds on screen to slow down the game.
I don't know. Emulator, not so much.
Yeah, when you're doing that on a 4 gigahertz computer, yeah, not gonna.
It's gonna keep up with a lot of them bullets.
Yeah.
Good luck. But some of the other ones, there are a couple in the PlayStation era that were like really good games that either didn't sell well over here because they weren't advertised, or got a bad rap, or it just didn't get advertised at all. Like one of, and I've actually never completed it for whatever reason, but Valkyrie Profile
Okay.
is a game that was about midlife, I think, of the PlayStation. Um, it's a weird RPG where you're basically a Valkyrie, and you're going and collecting specimens for the war against the Vernier. And is that how you pronounce that?
I'm not sure.
I think it's you have the Aesir and the Vernier, maybe. Anyway, you're collecting warriors, and you have to train them, run through their storylines of how they died, why they died, and inevitably send them off to Valhalla for the coming war. And you had to figure out which ones you wanted to keep for yourself, because you had to have strong warriors to make it through the later levels, and which ones to send off. And it was just really good. And the combat system was interesting. Each character was mapped to a button on your controller, and each one of them had a very specific type of attack and a time it would go off. And you had to basically time your attacks so that you could get in good combinations, because if you got into good combinations you could do something of a finishing move of things. And it was just beautifully pixelated. It was a gorgeous game, and right now if you had a sealed copy it's like $300.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty rare. Mine, unfortunately, my case got cracked, but the game itself is complete and probably worth about 150, maybe 100, like it is. Not that I would give it away or try to sell it. So that's another one to look at.
The turrets on the sled are tickling me right now. Before finishing welding them up, I turned the idle animations off.
They are standing to attention, aren't they?
Let's see. How's the... Okay, Vulcan spawns in normally. Second Beaufort.
Okay. Back to thrusters. So what are some RPGs that you know of that never really got any real attention? Do we run out of platinum again? No, we still got it. Why are you not making?
Well, there's a few of them that I know of off the top of my head. Action RPGs. Like The Illusion of Gaia and...
Cobalt.
I don't remember that game.
It's a game by Notch, actually. I don't think it ever got released. No, but we're out of Cobalt.
Okay. So we'll need to go and look for... What? How?
Or it's not pulling it in from somewhere. One or the other.
I think it's that, because... No? We are out of Cobalt.
Well, we're going to have to fix that. Do we have any on our Jeepus? I think maybe we do. Turn my hood on here. No, that's back on the planet. Or is it? Yeah, 85 kilometers. Okay. Oh,
and
right here, right here.
grab motors.
That should be a new one.
Okay, metal grids, motors, and computers.
No, that one was back there as well, because that was yours. Okay. Looks like we're gonna have to go look for... What is that? 4G auxiliary.
Well, we could also consider going hunting.
We could do that.
Computers, motors. Okay.
Alright. Well, time being, I'll go ahead and use up what thruster components we got.
Okay.
And I gotta clean up my stuff here. Get rid of that one. Turn that one off.
G auxiliary. Okay, out of motors already. So
Okay,
ditch all
now
this.
just a couple of antennas. Okay. And I think I interrupted you in the middle of your RPG talk.
Well, I don't really have that many RPGs that... Because it took me a while to get into RPGs. I played a lot of platformers and adventure games.
I can get behind that. Like I said, my first one was Legend of Dragoon, so I understand.
And the first one I played was Final Fantasy VI, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the greatest Final Fantasy ever. You can just bite it if you think 7's all that good.
I wasn't a fan of 7. I like 8 a lot, because that was my first Final Fantasy. Oh.
Okay. I think this one's mine.
Didn't you play a little bit of 6 on your channel?
Yes.
Did you math right on these thrust components?
I think so.
60,000?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay. Because I think it's going to be closer to 6 probably. Because what do we got in each one here? 720 and 720. That's 1480, 1480. That's almost 3,000 each. So 3, 6, 9, 12. About 1,200 of them. No, I'm mathing wrong now. So I think maybe hunting would be good when we reach a comfortable stopping point with this jump sled.
Okay.
So we don't spend like 3 hours welding up thrusters.